It's a L.I.O.N podcast, like it or not. The livest show in the O. We're ready to go. Let's introduce, to my right is Big Stack.
What's going on, everybody?
To my left, it's Hoagie.
Yo, what up, everybody? Subscribe it up.
Subscribe it up. And I'm your host, Mr. Tokes. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome, friends. Welcome, family. Welcome, enemies. Welcome, everybody. We have a lovely show planned out for you today. We're back in the new studio. It's not completely official yet, but we're working on it. It's under construction. We had to get some things together really quick and put it all together. But nevertheless, we're here, man, and it feels good to be here with another L.I.O.N podcast production. How's everybody feeling?
I'm doing well.
Yeah?
Yeah, I feel a little better than the last time, I think.
Yeah.
At least at the moment.
Yeah, at least at the moment for the time being. Well, we got some shots lined up so you could
Bring back the memory.
Maybe get there again. Yeah.
Let's go to being back in a new studio, new place.
Yes, it feels
cheers,
good.
everybody. If you're out there, cheers up. Good to see you again.
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby. L.I.O.N podcast, people, like it or not. We got a great show planned out for you. We're going to start off with some inspired or not because that's what we do on this show. So, first one, if the misery of our poor be caused not by the laws of nature, but by our institutions, great is our sin. Charles Darwin. I like that one. That's deep right there. If the misery of our poor be caused not by the laws of nature, but by our institutions, great is our sin. That says it all right there. We're living in a system, our institution, that allows people to go hungry, allows people to work so hard and not get to enjoy the fruits of life and shit. Then yeah, man, that's a sin. Great is a sin. Absolutely. Fucking couldn't agree more. Anybody want to say anything about before I go to the next quote?
Nah, go ahead. You hitting it.
I always think it's interesting how you get quotes from a very long time ago from people that have not been around for a long time, and it still applies to today.
Very good point. Very good point. It does, man. It does. And this one is really this was actually the quote, the one I'm about to say is the one that I had. I just want to start off with that one. But this one, don't ever tell me that a small group of thoughtful people could not change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. Margaret Mead. And that is pretty much what this show is going to be about today. We're going to get into that in a little bit. But we got 4 special shout-outs to give today. I got to get the shout-outs out there because it's been a while since we did this show. First one's off to Matt. My boy Vegas Matt won't leave me alone about his times in Vegas going to you know Matt Johnson.
Yes.
He was actually, it was a while back, but he commented and he was like, "Hey man, didn't you have a show, L.I.O.N podcast, or it was a different format and all that?" I was like, "Yeah, man, we did. It's coming back. We were just doing a lot of BSing with talk shows and verbal medicines and stuff like that. But yeah, here it is, man. And shout out to you for that." And then JB, I got another shout out. He said, we need to all come together again, like it's 9/12 all over again, the day after 9/11 when everybody was
together.
Yeah, I thought that was a really good, really well said. And he's right about that. Shout out JB. And third on the list is a guy I met yesterday, actually. And I told him I was going to shout out because I was at Publix. I jump out of the truck. I was running in, and just in the corner of my eye, I see a dude double back. We're kind of walking in together, and he goes back. So I look back, like, I don't even know why I looked. But there was a older gentleman that was struggling with his groceries. He was, you could tell the dude's so old, man. He's humped over and stuff. And the dude doubles back, and he just kind of whispers in his ear, and the guy's like, "No, it's okay, it's okay." And he just comes back, all casual and stuff. And I stopped and I was like, "Hey man, did you ask that guy if he needed help?" And he's just like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Bro, that's so awesome, man. That's so awesome." I was like, that's the world needs more of that, man. We need more
All
of that
day.
all day.
All day.
Um,
What happens for respect for your elders?
right. And he just did it so casually that you could tell he does it all the time.
That's good.
And he didn't know I was watching him and stuff. So shout out Brendan, because I met him after that, and I told him I was going to shout him out on the show, man. I was like, man, I'm going to shout you out because I like positive things like that. I mean, that's kind of what Daniel did one day. Remember when you filled up the guy's tank and you were like, man, you're rubbing off on me, because I don't even know why I did that. But a guy asked, how did the story go? I forget what happened. I know you filled up his tank, but he like asked you for money or something like that.
I mean, I noticed the guy outside when he pulled up right behind me when I was going in the store.
Right.
And then I was sitting there waiting. I think I was at Wawa. I was waiting to get a sandwich. And he just came up and he was like, he's like, yeah, man, I don't usually do this or whatever. But he said he didn't have no gas and he just needed a couple bucks. And I was like,
that's right.
I was like, yeah, dude, I'll help you out. And then so I started pumping it for him, and he was pumping it rather. And he was like, just tell me when to stop. I was like, just fill it up, dude.
Right.
And when I did that, when I told him just fill it up, he started getting all teary-eyed.
Oh, man.
Listen, I got a story, right?
Come on now. That's dope,
good. Bro. That's very nice. That's
way
good.
to go, Big Stack.
That's very warm-hearted and all.
Yeah, man.
But, right,
especially today.
I had the same situation, right? Guy comes up to me. He's like, hey, man, I need a couple of dollars, a couple of bucks for gas. I was like, no problem. I was like, give me a couple of seconds. I'm going to get off of work right here, and I'm going to give you a couple of gas, but we got to go to the gas station.
Right.
By the time I got out, with less than 5 minutes, he already took off. He just wanted cash.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You get those people.
And
I was like, man, I was going to go pay for this guy. I would have took the gas anyway.
Right.
But, I was, but no. He just took off, wanted some cash, and I didn't give up the cash. I offered the gas.
Well, it's happened to me a handful of times where, where people pay for your stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'll be going through McDonald's, the person in front of me paid for my food.
Oh, yeah.
Or
yeah.
That happens all the time.
There's been twice around Christmas time. It happened like maybe 2 years ago, and then maybe like 10 years ago, where going through Walmart, somebody paid for my stuff around Christmas time.
No, one time, something like that, I forgot my money at home, my card, and I had diapers and everything, formula, and the lady in front of me went and offered to pay. I was like, nah, you ain't got to pay. I'll go home, and I'm going to go get you. Like, no. And then when she went to go pay it, Chinaman from the Chinese food next door came and said, no, I pay. I was like, oh, and he paid. It was like a $40 thing, and he paid it for me.
That's big.
Yo, I went back.
It's huge.
I went back and I paid the dude back to China, man. I went back because I was like,
I love these stories,
I was
man.
like, that's cool, man. I said, China, man, good
And
looking.
even to your point,
and I bought some food.
and even to your point about the guy that left because he wanted the money. I mean, can you really blame him? Like, I get it. You had to say gas because usually you get the money for the gas. But truthfully, these people are just in need, man. Yeah. And I don't give a shit if you're homeless and you just want to go do some drugs, man. There's too many needy people out there, dude. I mean, I'd need to do some drugs if I was homeless. I mean, even if I'm some crackhead or whatever, just living on the street, because that's how I ended up. I mean, who's the judge what the hell they're doing anyway?
Well, I can't really identify with how it is to live like that.
Right.
But I do know that, I mean, if I can imagine if I'm in your position, you're in front of the store or whatever, if you want something from me, like you want food, you need to ask me on the way in.
Yeah.
Because I'm going in to get food for myself.
Yeah.
So if you ask me, hey, man, you give me a slice of pizza, you give me a hot dog, I'm like, yeah, bro, I'll get that for you. But if I come out and then you ask me, I'm like, dude, I already made my purchase.
Yeah.
Or you ask me for change. I'm like, hey, dude, I never have change anymore.
Yeah.
Catch me 20 years ago. I don't got no change.
Yeah, we do card.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. But get me on the way in. Don't get me on the way out. It's a lot more successful that way.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Last shout out I want to give is to Hoagie. Hoagie Hercules, man. I just moved, as everybody knows. We're in a new place right now because I was getting charged out the ass. But man, do I got a story. Okay. you think you know your buddy, right? You think you really know your friend. I knew he was going to show up because it's long story short, I did most of the work, and then I just thought that I had a few pieces to move. It ended up being the heaviest fucking thing ever. This piece of furniture behind us, which I know you can't see on the camera, but I'll take a picture, try to post it or some shit. I'll try to do something about it, but it doesn't look that heavy. But the damn thing is like
it's heavy.
It's like solid wood with a marble top.
Mahogany.
Dude. And it's in the back corner. So I forgot that I got moved into my prior apartment. I forgot. I thought
that somebody else did it.
That somebody else did it. So I'm thinking about everything else and like, oh man, this is going to be easy. And it really was. It's just a lot, but it was easy. This shit killed me because I was on 48 hours of fumes trying to prove a point to my girlfriend that we didn't need movers. So I did all this shit. Hoagie shows up on time and he's like, let's get it. Let's get it. So we're in the back corner of the room, the room that it's in, and we have the skinny hallway and we have two rooms that merge like this. So we had a problem getting the fucker out of the hallway. We could not get in on the dolly because one side's like up and down and the other side's high. So the four-wheel dolly did not fit on it. So I'm like, whatever, dude, let's just slide this fucking thing. We're getting it. But we got waxed by doing that because we exerted all our energy.
And it was down the stairs too.
But this ain't even to that point yet. We had to turn it all the way around because when we got in the hallway, the rippled side on that side, it wouldn't go. So the flat side, we realized was the side that had to go. So we had to pull it out of the hallway, turn it all the way around, get it in. Like I said, dude, we were dead by the time it gets to the stairs, okay? So we get it to the stairs, which is a fucking journey, and we could not get the thing on the dolly. So the whole time we're like, just get it to the stairs. We'll figure it out when we get there. Hoagie looks at me, and he goes, hey, you got it? And I looked right at him with all honesty. I said, no, I don't, because somebody's got to go on the bottom of the stairs. I mean, the stairs are like this wide, and somebody's got to go on the bottom. And he goes, I got it. I said, dude, I can't let you die today on my watch, man. Look, if the dresser's going to break, I'd rather be the one that breaks it. I'm going to drop it and get the fuck out of the way. If that's the way it goes down. That was in my mind. He looks at me and he goes, I got it. I said,
I'm locked in.
I said, bro.
No problem.
All right, here we go. Let's go. Whatever. So we go for it. And he pushes it and he's up. Now he's got this thing by the bottom of it. He's got it. He's got all the weight. I get to the ledge and dude, I realize at this moment when it's too late that I have nothing in the tank. I can't even get the fucking thing off the ground, dude. So I just go bah on the first stair. And then I'm like, he's like, come on, let's go. And I'm like, I'm trying. So then I get bah on the second stair. And his thing is making.
You got to bend over and shit when you're going down the stairs.
Yeah. Look how tall it is. So I got to get it all the weight up there and not let it fall too hard on the step. Dude, this thing was going cram. And he's like, you okay up there? I was like, no, I'm not.
I had to slow it down.
So I had to get it from the bottom. So I sit down on the fucking stair and I'm start going.
You're sliding.
Yeah, like just easy. And it was still slamming the ground, dude. This thing is so heavy. I can't even put it into words what this fucking thing weighs.
It looks heavy.
It is so beyond heavy. So then
it has granite on top.
We get like 4 or 5 stairs into it. And I'm like, bro, just drop it. He goes, fuck no. Let's go, man. Let's go. I got this. I'm thinking to myself, this is the strongest motherfucker that's ever lived. So I go, I look down the stairs to see how many more we go. It's like 15 or 20 steps. I'm like, I'm not going to make this shit. So I just get back on the next step. Next step.
But we got a rhythm to it, and it was smooth.
Dude. So we finally get to the bottom. How long did you have that thing? I mean, it was minutes. It was several minutes, like closer to 10 minutes. Dude.
When I say locked in, it's locked in.
All the way. So then we had to take it about 8 to 10 more feet, and then there's about 5 more steps. So we get it down there, and we took a nice break. I took a nice break on the flat part. I'm like, dude, I I'm flabbergasted by what I just witnessed. I'm tired, but I'm also like, how the hell did he carry that all the way down?
I pick up doors every day. Heavy doors.
Is that what it is? So we get it down the last few stairs, and now I'm like, dude, we got to get this thing up the ramp into the truck. How are we gonna do this? So we get the dolly on the front edge of it because there's at least 2 corners that we could get it lined up with, and we take the other stand-up dolly, and we put it back, and we push it up there. Okay, we got it lined up to the ramp. Now we got to get it up the ramp, but the dolly, as we're going, we doing our final heave-ho, and this dolly slips, and now it's just us. And then he's like, let's go. I was like, yeah. So we just start pushing it because it's still on the wheels, and it goes, and it gets right to the fucking top, and the back part just goes crack, and it cracks wide open, and he goes, no.
It did?
Dude, on the other side, he fixed it though, but it's not completely fixed because it wasn't off. And he goes, "That's okay. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. I could fix that.
I'll fix it and make it look brand
He goes,
new.
I'll make that look brand new." And then fucking, so we're like, okay, it's like 10:30 at night, dude. We can't even see anything in the truck. I'm like, let's just get it over to the place right down the street. So he's like, I can fix it right now. I was like, dude, we're just going to the same place. Let's just go get this thing here. Because we had some furniture that was going to my mom's house, and we had to get there on a decent time. So long story short, we get to the other place, and I'm like, on the way there, I'm thinking, I got nothing. I got nothing left. I have to come up with a better plan to get this thing to the elevator. Thank God we have an elevator at this place. So when he got there, I said, bro, I got the plan. He's like, what is it? So he fixed it. We flipped it upside down on the flat top on the side, put that bitch on the dolly, and rolled that thing up there. And he fixed it. He put some screws in the side of that motherfucker. And it works. It's beautiful. So we got it up, and that was a successful story. But now that is Hoagie Hercules, because I have a newfound respect for how strong that motherfucker is. In a million years, wouldn't have thought that somebody could take all that weight and carry it down the stairs. Maybe I was just gassed, but I told him I never stopped working out since that day. I was like, dude, I just been working out, bro, because I knew I got to get tough again, man. But
it's in the core.
Shout out to Hoagie for that day, man, because that was one hell of a journey. And I just want to tell to everybody else, I'm sorry for the delay, the move, and all that stuff, but we might have more delays on the horizon because my grandpa's not doing too well. We got a lot of situations. My video editor's going out of town, so she's going to be gone. We're going to be hit or miss for this next month or so, but we're going to try to put out as much content as we can and get it out to you. But with that, let's get the show on. So we have a video. It's from the trucker convoy. It's insiders, basically independent journalism going on. It's the gray zone. And Max Blumenthal did a wonderful report on the what's really going on at the trucker convoy. So let's check it out.
This March, after a weeks-long cross-country journey, several hundred truckers arrived at a muddy field in Hagerstown, Maryland, just over an hour outside Washington, D.C. They were there to protest the cross-border vaccine mandate, to demand the repeal of the Emergency Act that was used to impose pandemic restrictions, and to bring accountability to the architects of the lockdowns. They called themselves the U.S. People's Convoy.
We're protesting the fact that they did it in the first place. You know, we're all human beings and we're in a free country. And people don't get it. They're saying, well, they're already lifting the mandates and lifting that. What's to prevent them from making another mandate that's unjust and in the future? That's what I'm protesting. They did it in the first place. So they're appeasing the American public by saying, now you're okay, COVID's taken its course. None of it's made sense from the beginning. I'm here, for my freedom, for this 70-year-old lady I seen in Elk City, Oklahoma, that bawled her eyes out to me and said, go fight. I don't want this to happen to anyone else. And this lady proceeds to tell me she wasn't even given the option to wear a mask. And her mom died of congestive heart failure, not COVID. She watched her mom, 91-year-old mom, take her last breath from behind a pane of glass. She wasn't even given the option to put a mask on and hug or kiss her mom goodbye. That's why I'm here. This is wrong. Every bit of it's wrong.
When it comes to the truck driver, the whole vaccine to get us to get a vaccine this is probably the most I've ever been around people the entire time I've been a truck driver. And it's about the same for you, right? We don't go around people very often, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes. We give our paperwork, then we go sit in a truck, or we unstrap, untarp, and we don't. It doesn't make sense. I mean, that's my office, that's my home, and I'm by myself. You know, some people it's 5 days a week. Some of us will be months. Nobody else in that vehicle but us, and we only deal with the general public. Drive by, and we only deal with other people or shippers in that maybe 5-10 minutes behind a plexiglass. So why are they mandating vaccines for everybody and forcing everybody to wear a mask when
I have an interesting fact for you. So I work for a small trucking company, or at least on a small trucking company. We have about 25 truck drivers. We all stayed on the road. We shared bathrooms with all the other truck drivers, shower rooms, all that stuff. Our office staff all went home because of COVID and did work from home. Guess who got COVID? None of the truck drivers. It was all the people that went home, right?
Almost as soon as the People's Convoy got on the road, U.S. media attempted to portray its participants as violent extremists and insurrectionists, invoking the trauma of January 6th and falsely accusing them of a plot to disrupt the Super Bowl in Los Angeles.
In a bulletin to law enforcement, the Department of Homeland Security says it received reports a convoy of truckers plans to potentially block roads in major metropolitan cities and severely disrupt transportation. The DHS alert says the convoy could begin Sunday in Los Angeles, the site of the Super Bowl, gathering truckers as they travel across the country, possibly reaching Washington, D.C. on March 1st, the same day as the State of the Union.
Any layer of complexity you throw onto a major event like the Super Bowl, it creates potential problems. Potentially, they could keep certain roads open only to emergency vehicles.
They can narrate it all they want. They're not here to cover it. They should come across the country like I did all the way from Arizona to Washington, D.C. and cover the overpasses of hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people. They should come and cover every night we're here, and you have people walking in and out of your truck, handing you goodie bags. Thousands of cards from children saying thank you. They should cover that and come and say it's violent.
And I came down from Minnesota, and I'd say 90% of the bridges all the way down here were lined with people. We went through Indiana at night from between 6 and 10 o'clock at night. They were shooting fireworks off the bridges. It was incredible. I'd never cried so much in my life. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe these people that are out here supporting us. We all kind of thought we were just kind of alone thinking this way, and lo and behold, everybody's behind us.
For days, the truckers had been conducting what they called slow rolls on Washington, D.C.'s Capitol Beltway, hoping that by jamming up the gargantuan and notoriously congested freeway, they could force the government to negotiate. But convoy leadership required truckers to maintain speeds of at least 55 miles per hour while they were on the Beltway. According to the Washington Post, during one slow roll, it was difficult to distinguish which vehicles were part of the demonstration after the group merged with regular Beltway traffic. On DC's Capitol Hill, meanwhile, I saw signs of a heavy government response prepared in the event of any presence of the People's Convoy inside the city. Not only were National Guard vehicles waiting by freeway off-ramps, police from New York City had been brought in for a potential confrontation.
Why is NYPD in D.C.?
We're here still. We were here for the State of the Union, and now we're here for the truckers. They're on their way here maybe Friday. Trucker convoy.
It's like a protest, right?
Like a protest, like supposed to be People's Convoy.
Are they a national security threat?
No, definitely not. More of a protest. The concern is that they come through here. They're gonna stop them before they get in here. But the concern is a couple of them slip through. The issue is not enough manpower in the Capitol Police, so we're providing additional. So you have additional law enforcement here. So
Interesting.
Determined to avoid an ugly clash with law enforcement, the truckers continued circling the Beltway, day in and day out, with little effect. On March 7th, People's Convoy leadership went to Congress with an urgent request for support.
So you've been out in Hagerstown. What brought you to D.C. today?
We had some meetings lined up with Senator Ron Johnson and Ted Cruz.
What were those about? How did those go?
They were about what we're doing here in the People's Convoy. They were receptive to us and agree with us, and look forward to working with them in the future to help push our message out there and hopefully convince the House here coming up and other senators that voted no on the state of emergency to flip to a yes and get it going through the House.
But back at the Hagerstown Freeway, frustration was beginning to brew. The slow rolls were failing to generate the pressure the truckers needed to bring the government to the table. The media remained focused on the war in Ukraine, and freezing weather persisted. Inside a climate-controlled trailer, I spoke to Tyler Lee, a small businessman running for Congress in North Carolina, who had participated in the meeting with Cruz and Johnson.
I sat down with 2 congressmen yesterday. I was a little disappointed. They told me that they didn't understand what was really happening with the People's Convoy because the mainstream media was not broadcasting it, which tells you enough that says if you're relying on mainstream media to understand the heartbeat of America, you are out of touch. And I was very disappointed that these 2 Republican congressmen told me that. They need to be down here. They need to be shaking hands and with the people. This is the heartbeat of America right here. This is how you get a pulse of what's going on. And it's disappointing to see that they have not come down. So, we'll find out if they're all lip service or there will be action. But I can assure you the truckers are gonna keep on trucking until they do something there in D.C.
Outside, I met with Rat Rod, a veteran trucker and activist.
This is a 58 Mac?
1958 Mac. Used to be a semi-truck, man. Used to be a tractor trailer and it's sitting on a 97 Ford Explorer chassis. It's got a 5.0 in it, and we stripped all the electronics and fuel injection and all that off, put carburetor intake on it, an ATI distributor, and just swapped it all over and built a little rat rod out of it there.
Rat Rod had situated himself within a convoy faction that called itself Camp Badass, and whose members were getting fed up with the endless slow rolls and the waiting around.
And I ain't done nothing but listen to that CB my whole life. These drivers talking about how we can do it, And you can go back and look through my TikTok. There's plenty of evidence in there. But for almost 2 years now, I've been riding around for 28 years trying to figure out how to get these guys to do it. And the slow roll is the best way to do it. And it's effective. It makes them a little bit late here and there, but you really, in one day's time, if everybody run 45, 50 mile an hour at the minimum speed limit, it ain't going to affect it that much, man. It's going to slow them down an hour, maybe 2 hours delay on their loads, but it makes a statement. It lets them rattle their chains, We all paid slaves out here, man. I mean, that's the bottom line. We paid slaves. And if you ain't willing to lose everything you got and walk away from it to fight for your own freedom, then you ain't in it to win it. I don't believe these guys got it in them. That's why I did it the first time, was because they was threatening to strike, and they giving dates. I don't believe you should give no date, man. I believe if we're going to go on strike, let's just go out there and close the damn roads off and let's do it right,
Right now, this is being ignored, actually, by the media.
Oh, yeah, this is, yeah. That's because we ain't got it together, man. Well, it's just confining a lot, and then when we get out there on the road, these guys, we had to whoop them in shape, man. You know what I'm saying? I got some good videos of whooping them in shape.
But with the specter of January 6th still hanging over Washington, convoy leadership remained reluctant to send its forces into the city without official authorization.
Our mission is 150% peaceful, and that is the message we have carried all the way.
But, yeah, go ahead.
Well, our organizers are working with local and state police and ensuring that this is done peacefully, legally, and that we make a stand, but we do it in the right manner. There's been other organizations that have shut down streets and burned down cities, and we're not about that. At the end of the day, we love our country, and we don't want to impede traffic or do anything that hurts people. We want to do this peacefully and legally.
I was just talking to some of the guys out there by the fire, and they want to go into D.C. I mean, what are you going to do about that? Not that you have to do anything against it or for it, but what happens? Are they able to do that?
Yeah, we'll pull permits to do it if they allow it. So certainly they'll do it legally.
Jeremy Lafredo is an independent journalist who had embedded with the People's Convoy since its launch. He told me he had just witnessed a sizable group of truckers confronting convoy leaders about their strategy.
What's going on over there is interesting. You have about 50 truckers sharing their grievances with organizers, and they're upset that they haven't heard what the next move is. They're upset that they haven't heard about the next meeting. A lot of them are ready to go into Washington. They're tired of circling the Beltway, and they don't think that the politicians will listen to them if they just drive around the Beltway a bunch of times, because they do think that the government has been quite evil. I don't know the word to use, but they blame the government for all the deaths that they've caused with lockdowns and whatnot, and they don't think that they will kneel to people who are just driving around the Beltway. And there's a big divide between the truckers and the organizers. While the organizers kind of might have bit off more than they can chew, there's about 350 big rigs here. The truckers are willing to do something, and the organizers don't want to be held accountable for whatever the truckers are going to do.
Moments later, convoy leader Brian Braze gathered the truckers before a makeshift stage and made his case for patience and continued trust in his strategy.
Before, but I'll say it again. Going down into the heart of D.C. like this right now is not a very smart choice. Correct. And I'm going to tell you that because we got children in this convoy. We got people that understand that this is more important than to go down there and cause mayhem, because it'll just collapse. Ottawa collapsed. We don't want to collapse. Right. Now you're right, it is, but if you don't think that won't happen here in the United States, sir, you don't think that'll happen here? Yeah, you're right, we got rights, but you know what? It doesn't take long for them to figure out a way to shut us down. That's the truth. That's right. That's the truth. The bottom line here is that we have a process to doing this. It ain't cowtailing to the politicians. I think you all know by now I don't like any of them. None of them. But I'll tell you that there are some good ones that want to work with us.
Beyond a visit the following day by Senator Ted Cruz to the Speedway, it was unclear what kind of results Braze's process were producing. And the permits for protesting peacefully in D.C. had yet to be authorized. So on March 14th, convoy leadership organized an attempt to enter D.C. with a small detachment of trucks. I waited on the National Mall that afternoon with a small group of journalists, the only ones with knowledge of the truckers' move, apparently.
So this is all the media waiting for the truckers.
And we waited.
So currently the entire convoy is on 395 coming into DC, and we have reports from the lead trucker saying that the police have shut off each exit coming in because they're afraid of the congestion that the convoy would cause.
The truckers never made it in. They found that every exit into DC was blocked by Metro Police and agents from the Department of Homeland Security.
True that these trucks that are stopped on the highway is the first true disruption caused by the convoy, but it's important to note that there's disruption and there's traffic because authorities have blocked off exits, so the disruption is being caused by the authorities themselves, not the truckers. The plan was to park on the mall. There's not much traffic around, so it seems that the disruption that the truckers have caused pales in comparison to shutting down the exits on the highway, which the authorities have done.
And during every subsequent attempt to enter D.C., the truckers were blocked by local and federal law enforcement. When reporter Jeremy Lafredo asked D.C. police about the legality of the roadblocks, he was ordered back in the truck.
Highway, you can be arrested for blocking the highway. Right now, you're blocking this truck from moving.
You're
you want to
blocking
be
the highway.
arrested?
Washington had become a forbidden city. And so on March 28th, the People's Convoy announced that it was leaving its base in Hagerstown, Maryland, and heading west for Sacramento, California, where a series of sweeping mandate proposals had been introduced in the state assembly, including one that would have mandated the COVID vaccine for all employees and independent contractors working in the state. For now, at least, Washington was in the convoy's rearview mirror.
So that was a little bit lengthy. Sorry about that, but it was necessary. It was good to see what was going on out there. Thank you. Shout out to the Gray Zone, Max Blumenthal. They always do great on their journalism and their reporting. We could always count on you guys to be at the scene and really capture what's really happening, because there's so much drama around the trucker convoy and what the hell that was all about. And trust me, I have a liberal family. I have a lot of people that are they're getting such a bad rap. But I took down some of the quotes that they were talking about from there. And one guy at the beginning, he said, came down from Minnesota and 90% of the bridges all the way down here were lined up with people. In Indiana, they were shooting fireworks off the bridges. I've never cried so much in my life. We all kind of thought we were alone thinking this way. Lo and behold, everybody's behind us. And that's something that propaganda will do to you. It'll make you think that you're alone and you're just a crazy and,
cool.
Nobody believes in what you do. Another guy said, mainstream media is not broadcasting it. If you're relying on mainstream media to understand the heartbeat of America, then you're out of touch. And that's another great quote that you just saw. But it's so important to see this, because the mainstream media narratives that have been circling for so long are, they're doing this because they're anti-Black Lives Matter. They're the January 6th rioters, they're Trump supporter, bad fascists, whatever. They're Nazis. All this.
Yeah, they was
shit.
trying to force them to take the vaccine shots,
right?
Or they couldn't drive at all. So that means if you don't got drivers, it was going against their will,
right?
And that's how we get our supplies, by these truckers and everything. So now they were saying if they don't take these shots, they will not allow to work. The truckers were saying, like, we don't even see nobody at all. We see us. We talk to us.
That's a great point.
We talk. We in our own office. We sleep. We eat. And we do everything in our own office, which is our trucks.
Right.
He goes, if we ever see anybody, we see them for 5-10 minutes to sign off our papers, and it'll be behind a plexiglass. And we're fine with that. Why do we need to get a minute to go get a shot?
Exactly. And that makes so much sense, because that's why I think we're protected at our job, dude. We don't really interact with too many people, man. We're in our own little truck office, and we do our little thing. And that's the same thing with these guys. So they're just saying, hey, man, besides the fact that we're wage slaves, because that was another part of it, we don't believe that we need a mandate, man. We should be free to make a choice that we don't really want to get a vaccine. And on top of that, we don't see anybody. So I think that's
my body, my choice.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You already know what happened to me.
Except for if it's an abortion.
A couple of months ago.
Too.
For those people. No, I know. But I'm just saying
that was the
joke.
I
would like to hear what they would say about that.
About the abortion stuff?
Yeah, if the same people were saying, because
Dude, the stuff that I've been saying, the things I've been hearing about the abortion is like, the lady was like, there was a lady was like, about abortion, like, how about if it's a 5-year-old? It's their choice. I'm like, come on, man. No.
Well, I'm just talking about.
What do you mean? This was a 5-year-old.
It was a 5-year-old.
A 5-year-old that was pregnant.
That's what I'm saying.
What?
Yeah.
There's 5-year-old pregnant people?
No, but that's what I be hearing this stuff like.
They're just hypothetically saying some crazy shit. Gotcha.
It all comes down to the religious.
You can't get pregnant until you get your period, right?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, there's kids that You mean they have it really
11, 12,
young
10, 11.
Right.
I know kids up north in the projects where had kids at like 11 or 12.
Right.
It's crazy.
But yeah, they should be able to. Late term abortions. I'm kind of against that. Like if you're 8 months, hey, you're not. We're not getting rid of it. Sorry.
Well, we're gonna talk about that.
I mean, unless there's a problem or.
How about if you get raped?
Well, yeah, see, that's a different thing.
That's different.
That's where it comes.
But I'm saying if you're not raped, it's not incest kind of thing. You're not a child. You're an adult. You made it. Yes. You just did your
one-on-one. They think this is what happened.
We got no weird scenario, and you just waited until the last fucking minute.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
Sorry,
too bad you're having it.
Yeah, that's crazy. But that's not the case, though.
But not the whole 6-week thing.
Usually, if it's incest or rape or something, you're not going to wait last minute. You're going to want that abortion immediately.
Texas, they're talking about. The Texas thing is like 6 weeks.
We could talk about.
You don't even know that.
We're going to talk about it at the end, right? We're going to talk about this at the end.
I could talk about that because I got a kid at 16, and I had a situation about that.
All right, well let's save that to the end because I got that for a like it or not question. Okay, we got to get to the end. But I just want to say about the truckers. There's all this bad rap about them and stuff. And Hoagie, remember when we were at that bike week that time, and we were like, "Oh man, how's this gonna go?" And then we had the time of our life.
Had a blast.
And did they seem hateful?
No, they was not hateful. They was so loving. They was so cool. They was down to earth. Everybody got along together. It was a great vibe.
Dude, we partied the whole day.
I seen tires being burnt out.
They were buying this guy drinks. They were loving it, Hoagie, man.
It was amazing.
There's a lot of bullshit
seen Michael
out there.
Jordan out there, man.
We did see Michael Jordan one night. My brother still doesn't believe me till today. Oh. But yeah, those guys were as trucker, as biker as it gets. And they didn't have a hateful bone in their body, dude. No. It was just a good time. A great time. And it was back when I was staying in Daytona Beach at college. And we were basically just partying every day. And we came up on these bikers on Main Street. And we were like, fuck it, dude. We're the only people that were standing out like a sore thumb there.
It was great.
But we had the time of our life, man. And they embraced us. They loved Hoagie. It was just a great time. So anyway,
Sydney came with us one time.
He might have been there, but it was a great time.
It was great.
But Rat Rod said, and I thought this was interesting. He said we all paid slaves out here, because we are. There's something that 80% of all workers have in common is that we're all paid slaves, right? To some degree. So, and then he said, that's the bottom line. We are paid slaves. I believe if we're going to strike, let's go out there and close the roads off and do it right. Now, that's exactly why truckers are so critical and important to the cause. And because that's what people don't understand. We have no power as people right now, but they are unique because they have a power that nobody else has based off the job that they do. So when they say that, that's the leverage that you want. You want somebody to be willing to go and actually shut down the economy because that's what they'll be doing. You're not going to hurt these people just by doing a little union organizing here and a little union, although I'm all for it. And I support all unions and everything. And I'll do anything to support all what's going on because that's important too. But my point is that you got to be willing to shut shit down and go to jail and then get bailed out. And then go right back to your rig and do it again. Because then you start a trend and everybody else gets on board and all the truckers go, holy shit, and that's where real change happens. It goes back to Margaret Mead, what she said, don't tell me that, peaceful, what did she say? Don't tell me that a small group of thoughtful people can't change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. And it's such a great quote and it's so true and impactful because this is what you're talking about. And this is exactly why they don't cover these things because they don't want you to know that that's where the power lies. The power lies in the truckers that can actually, make a real change, because once you have the economy shut down, like you said earlier, they have our goods in the back of their fucking trucks.
Yeah.
And they have trucks that they could just park in the middle of the fucking road and shut it, or in the front of an airport or whatever. That's the kind of shit that they are scared of, because it doesn't take long with the capitalist system and how the capitalist system operates. Dude, 30 minutes, an hour, 10 hours, you're talking about big money being lost. Never, much less 24-hour day or a week or something like that.
What you mean? I ain't got no steak for my restaurant? We got problems.
Right. All sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
it's just an example.
It puts the economy to a dead stop when that happens. And the bigger of a movement you have, the more people you got shutting down the economy, the more production's being lost, the more the investors, the stocks, they start going, holy shit, we got to sell our stocks. The more the fucking CEOs and executives lose their mind, and it's a trend, man. And then the more truckers see that and say, man, we are paid wage slaves. Let's get on board. Let's do this shit. That is the move. Fuck this electoral voting and shit like that. You're not going to get anywhere with that. You see the Republicans and Democrats, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But
yes,
it's such an important thing to pay attention to when you see this, because it's all there. It's all there, and that's what these people want. And that's why they're telling you, oh, they're anti-BLM. They're just some January 6th rioters, crazy people. Oh, they're all Trump supporters. Don't listen to them. Okay. Maybe there is one Nazi out of all of them or whatever. So the mainstream media zooms in on the one Nazi flag out there, and who knows who put that Nazi flag out there, because I didn't see anything like that. I mean, that was independent journalism you saw right there. So I think you got a good glimpse of what was going on. Max Blumenthal doesn't fuck around. But yeah, so that's the kryptonite to the elite, and it's not only kryptonite; it's a fucking curb stomp to their pockets. Anyway, that's how change happens. And you saw also that the permits, they didn't authorize the permits for peaceful protesting. So there you go. They even said, hey man, let's do an authorization for a peaceful protest, and they didn't do it. So hey, what do you want us to do? What do you want us to do? That's when you have to get rough, because they're playing rough with you. So you got to play rough with them. That's the way it is. That's what, like Margaret Mead said, that's the only time change has ever happened. The only time. Only is the key word there.
You need a permit for a protest?
A protest.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's kind of strange, isn't it?
It's crazy, right?
I mean,
well, protests don't supposed to be negative. It's supposed to be a positive thing.
A peaceful protest, correct?
Yeah, peaceful protest.
Absolutely.
So,
and it makes sense, but they're supposed to give it to you.
Yeah.
And not only are they supposed to give it to you, they're supposed to give you the restrooms that you need to have the people to be able to use it.
Yeah.
They're supposed to secure
the
street.
area.
Yeah, they're supposed to make it safe for you. Barricades if need be. There's a bunch of things that go into it, but yeah, man, all protests you need to organize it through the.
So if you get a permit for a protest, which should be guaranteed, no matter what it is that what like they pretty much they're gonna approve it if you ask for it. Basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then
peaceful.
Or they should.
Right, peaceful,
this,
but then they're required to provide bathroom,
restroom, barricade area, because you got to think you can bring in people.
I don't think a lot of people know that, because I mean I didn't realize that.
I didn't know that until the Black Lives Matter protest.
That should be educating people on that kind of thing a little more.
Well, there's a lot of things
where they would be more
we
willing
don't know,
to
man.
do the whole protest. Because when I think about protesting, I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Somebody has to start it. There's a leader of the, you know what I'm saying? There's people want to organize that.
It's a freedom of speech thing, man. It's First Amendment, man. We're allowed to, if we're upset about something, we're allowed to go out there and express our feelings and do what we got to do. But they will shut your ass down. And as you just saw in that video, they didn't authorize it, and that was a peaceful protest. So, they made up their excuses. They said, State of the Union, blah blah blah, but nevertheless, they didn't do it. And the media at the same time is making them outcasts and saying all these bad things about them. And that's just not true. But 5 examples I want to give you really quick of, what capitalists do to keep the capitalism thriving, right? And this is important because I want to give you 5 examples through history to basically show you why the truckers are so important. And it goes like this. Decimated unions, right? So they've decimated unions forever. And even so much as breaking laws to do it. They're fucking breaking laws to break up these unions. So that's one thing that's messed up. The computer revolution was another thing, right? So Americans basically, CEOs since the 1960s, 1970s, since the computer revolution, they've outsourced millions of American jobs. And then they've lied to us and said that, hey, we're going to bring those jobs back, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, bullshit, because they wanted to go get $1 an hour or $1 a day in Beijing or whatever. And so they're because if they don't do it, the next company will. Yeah. They'll go steal their spot. And then that'll bring the competition down, and then your company will suffer as a result because that company just took that advantage.
Took the deal.
Should be illegal to leave the country with jobs, with American jobs. And what's even worse than that, and this is what they don't tell you, is automation. Automation is stealing more jobs and they've been outsourcing jobs for the computer revolution, millions of jobs. And what's taken more jobs than that is the automation. They have robots that are just stealing these factory jobs, and it's taking even more jobs, and by a lot. It's not even close.
Remember I used to do floors?
Yeah.
Huh? Have you been into Walmart at night?
No, what's going on?
They got the scrubbers. Remember the scrubber? I used to walk with a scrubber. They got automatic scrubbers.
Remote control ones?
Remote control. It does itself. It cleans the whole store by itself. It drives itself through the whole store, not even a person behind it.
Yeah.
You program it. It does every aisle. It does the front.
Wow. Have you seen those advertisements for
crazy.
For the robot vacuums?
Yo, Corey got one.
I have them.
Or not I'm sorry, not vacuums, lawnmowers.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So they bring them, they drop it off at your house. It mows your yard while they go and drop off another one at somebody else's house. And they come back and pick it up.
Are you out of your mind?
So think about how many people mow yards that's going to be.
Yeah.
Dude.
That's happening.
That's crazy.
Well, so are all these other things. And that's my point. Automation is stealing so many fucking jobs, not just factory jobs, but those are great examples right there. So there you go. That's 3. Stagnated wages. They don't raise your fucking wage because of all those outsourced jobs, because they're in Beijing. So they got to have our shit wages compete with these other wages that are just too good to be true and try to bring us down. And just so, they could do what they do and keep making profits for their investors and all that stuff. And it's so bad, the wages, by the way, adjusted for inflation, most workers today get less for their dollar than they did in the 1960s. Okay? So think about that. We're getting less for our dollar, adjusted for inflation, than we did in the 1960s for the most part of Americans right now. And that is fucking insane. That is where you're just seeing production go up and up and up with robot. Their production doesn't stop. Production keeps going. In fact, it's doing better than before the coronavirus. I know for a fact that since the 1980s, our production has doubled. Our whole economy has doubled. But we didn't see those fucking wages. Our wages stayed stagnant the whole time. So we have stagnated wages as a result, and that's number 4. And then the number 1, number 5, the media lies about all this shit. They divide us by lying to us about what your real problems are so they could keep you by the balls and keep you just believing that, oh, well, it's this or it's that. And they have Republicans, Democrats, blah, blah, blah. But there's only 2 parties, and it's the same fucking party. It's the same party. They're all capitalists. It's bullshit. And that's the truth, man. They divide you and they even lie about unemployment numbers. They even lie about that. Why would they lie about that? Because if you don't fill out an application, I don't know how long it is. Maybe you do.
I don't know how long it is, but I know if you're not actively looking for a job or you're putting in your information, then you're not counted on that statistic.
Right. You're no longer considered unemployed.
I haven't filled out an application in probably.
But you got a job though. Oh, it's under the table though, right?
No, I'm saying that.
Oh yeah, you're employed though. I'm talking about if you're unemployed and you haven't filled out an application for so long, they don't count you on the unemployment list. Percentage. So think about all the people that are like that, either getting paid under the table or have not a full-time job or whatever. And here's another thing to think about.
I think it's 3 months, I want to say. But
is it? I don't know the exact date, but I know it's a short period of time. But also, I think personally, if you're not making a living wage, then you shouldn't be counted as employed. Or if you're not getting a full time with a living wage, then you shouldn't be counted as employed. But all politicians run on those numbers. We have a 7%, 6% unemployment record. We're doing so good. Blah, blah, blah. It's all
and
bullshit.
Everybody's still hurting.
And everybody's still hurting, man.
Well, I think the whole robot automated thing you were talking about, that's the best evidence for what do they call it? Universal income.
Yes, good point. Great point. Universal basic income. A lot of people don't know about that. UBI. Okay. What a great thing to do, right? Give Daniel, you got a job, you got a job, I got a job. Give us all $2,000, including fucking unemployed people. Is that the way it goes? No. Just give people that have a job $2,000, and it will have people come back to their shitty jobs because they'll get $2,000 extra a month on top of their paycheck. And what that will do is that we are 70%, last time I checked, I don't know the number, but regular people like you and me are 70% of the economy. Because as soon as we get money, if I get $5,000 in a day, guess what? I'm grocery shopping, I'm paying debts. It's going right back into the rich people's pockets.
Back into
the groceries
right?
are ridiculous.
Groceries are
great.
insane.
It has gone
right now.
so high, dude.
It's ridiculous, dude. Gas too, man. I mean, it's...
Yeah, I'm telling you, listen, talking about little groceries, man, I get a call from my lady Jamie today and said, you know what? There's this person that we know that has 3 kids, just got separated from baby daddy, got 4 kids, really. But you know how much they give her, the government decided to give her?
Oh, Jesus, what?
A month? For food?
$225.
That was a slap in the face months ago. Whatever, last month. $79. 79 buckaroos, bro.
You got to be shitting me.
Yeah, 79 because because
she makes too much.
No, she has baby daddies, right? And they account of the baby daddies. But how about if the baby daddies don't pay?
Yeah.
If they don't pay, they still giving you $79.
I'd like to say that I'm surprised, but
it costs $10 for a pound of hamburger meat. Pound of beef, $10.
Yep.
It used to be like $4.
Yeah, it's up.
Like, a couple years ago, it was like $4.50.
And this is why the trucker convoy is so important, man. This is why you need people like that, because when they're playing hardball like that, it goes back to Margaret Mead. Don't tell me change has never happened with a small group of thoughtful people, because indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. You go back to the civil rights, you go back to women's rights, you go back to child labor laws, you go back to the 40-hour work week. We, the people, fought for all that shit. That didn't get voted in. I could go on and on. It was the people that did that shit. It was people standing in solidarity. And that's why they've decimated and fucking divided us. And, props to propaganda, because that shit it works. It works, man. It's got people fucking that are struggling, talking shit like they don't want help. Like, I pull myself up my bootstraps. Fuck you. It's like, you're living in a trailer.
They've been having that conversation for the last few years, or a number of years. But the last year, everything has gone up.
Everything.
A lot.
Everything.
Right?
A hash brown at McDonald's is like $2.99 right now.
Yeah.
It's gross,
for
man.
a hash brown.
A hash brown.
That used to be 99 cents.
What you mean? Be $2 for $1?
Or whatever.
I can't even get a hash brown, no ketchup.
No ketchup.
When are they gonna start charging? Hey, they do get skimpy with their barbecue sauces. They're like, sorry.
They started charging like 25 cents or something. If you
Do they?
Do they? They stopped it, but because probably customers were complaining. But they started charging like 25 cents for extra sauce. That's crazy.
God, that's so pathetic.
America.
I don't hear about that in the news that much.
What?
I don't hear.
You don't hear about what?
About all the prices that we're experiencing.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
You hear about, we're going to help Ukraine with $40 billion.
Oh, we're going to talk about that now.
We're going to give them $40 billion, and we're talking about abortion and all these other things, but we're not talking about what we're experiencing.
Well, there's a main problem going on right now. I don't know if y'all heard. All right. what's our seeds, our kids? We gotta bring them up, right? And we gotta feed these babies, right?
Right.
Have you heard there's a shortage in baby formula?
Yes.
How are you gonna have a shortage in baby formula when?
Because of capitalism.
Russia, what's going on here?
Because if you're asking why we have a shortage, it's because capitalism has. There's only 3 baby formula companies. That's it. They've gobbled up all the smaller.
Are they based in Russia or Ukraine or something?
Well, the problem with that,
America. We need to have this in America.
When you only have 3 sources like that, you have if something happens to one dude, a lot of people are without formula.
Yeah, but where is it coming from?
I don't know all the backstory of it, but that's what I heard, man. It's all.
Well, I guess we going back to the titties.
Yeah, man. That's a good. I'm gonna go ask my lady. I need some baby formula.
I need some baby formula, baby.
Maybe that'll work.
It's for the kids.
It's for the kids, baby.
It's for the kids. Anyway,
children first.
All right, moving on. Like you were saying, we're going into that right now. We have a recent statement by Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin. Actually, you know what? I take that back. We have a recent statement by George Bush, a confession, I guess you could say.
Oh yeah.
You know what? Let's go to that first. Let's go ahead and check that out real quick.
Forces and defending his country. In contrast, Russian elections are rigged. Political opponents are imprisoned or otherwise eliminated from participating in the electoral process. The result is an absence of checks and balances in Russia and the decision of one man to launch a wholly unjustified and brutal invasion of of Ukraine. Iraq, anyway. 75. Wholly unjustified and brutal invasion of Iraq.
In his defense, he is 75.
Yeah, he went back a couple of years and said,
yeah, he's definitely 70. Is he 75?
Yeah, in the longer version, he says that.
He's also a murderer.
But you see the way he said it? He said Iraq, and then he's like Ukraine. Well, Iraq.
Yeah. He knew he fucked up. He was just like, Iraq. Yeah. Yeah. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're on the spot.
That's just how he used to talk on all his speeches, just like that.
By the way, did you know that was that one of his speeches that he gives for money?
Probably.
I guess
I'm
it was.
sure he's not doing it for free.
Right. Yeah. So that was one of the speeches where he gets like 85,000. All the others, I think Obama gets like 200,000 a speech.
Yeah, they get a lot.
He gets 85 to 100,000, dude, for a couple hours.
Yeah, all the ex-presidents, they get big money for.
Are you serious?
For public speaking.
That's how they get their bucks after they're retired. But that speech was probably one that was worth the money. that was one that was definitely worth the money, if I had to say it, because we got that gem out of it, and I thought that was pretty great. Daniel sent that to me today, and I was just like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, and he did his classic.
He did. He did.
I fucked up.
Another thing to keep in mind, since we're on the Bush thing, May 24th will be 3 months since Russia invaded Ukraine. Russia has killed over 3,000 innocent civilians so far. The first few months America invaded Iraq, we killed over 300,000.
300,000
innocent civilians, about 1 million in total. So just by you know. So keep shit in perspective a little bit.
So Putin ain't that bad.
No, I didn't say that. I just said it's all bad. But
is it bad when you have these countries saying I hate America? When you're over here killing their fans?
Talk to me now. Man, it's look, me and my mom were talking on the couch the other day, and I told her, I was like, man, I didn't say it only, but I said it's not that many. I think she said like 12,000 or something. That's a lot. And I said, Mom, I think it's only like a few thousand. And
I
it's
would
still
think-
terrible.
I
It's
had
still
thought
terrible.
It would be a lot more than 3,000 that they've killed.
Well, I think it's even less than that because when you Google it, that's what it says. So they always overshoot if it's a foreign dictator, and they always undershoot if it's us.
Yes.
That is they make it look good no matter what.
They've blown up hospitals and whatever. So 3,000 seems like a pretty low number.
Yeah, that's a low number.
Well, those hospitals and the schools, they were supposedly one side and the other. There's two sides to the story. Ukrainians were storing their weapons there at hospitals and shit that were getting blown up.
That means
so
they were
Probably
evacuated.
WMDs, probably.
So they were, that's what one side said. I'm not saying that that's official, although in 15 years it will be probably because we lie about every
in the
fucking
dark
thing.
comes out in the light one day.
And by the way, we went 6,000 miles to do that in Iraq, and when they weren't even responsible for 9/11. So keep that in fucking mind too. While you're probably talking shit right now. So fuck you.
Up yours.
But hey, laws don't apply to America, so we are exceptional.
I was watching this interview today where they were interviewing a couple of the Russian soldiers, and they were talking about how they feel like they're liberating these people because they think that the Nazis are taking over there and stuff like that.
Well, they are liberating the Donbass region because that is Russian-speaking, mostly Russian ethnic people, and they were asking for their help since the 2014 coup, which people still don't believe America was involved in, even though Victoria Nuland was on a leaked phone call saying who they wanted as a puppet leader over there. But yeah, that little sliver over there, the Lugansk and Donetsk area, the Donbass region, that's all Russian people, and they were getting shelled for since 2014. So it was like 8 years, and they lost like 14,000 people, a bunch of kids and shit. But nobody talks about that, and they act like it's not even fucking reality, man. And they don't even care to fucking know because they just don't want to believe that America could be tied into anything. They watch so many movies, and we're the hero in every fucking thing we do. So it's impossible for America. But look, man, it's not you. It's not the soldiers. I could have been a soldier. I could have enlisted when I was fucking 18. I could have done anything because I didn't know any better. Shit, it was only till like 30 seconds ago where I started really researching this shit because I do a podcast. And now that I'm seeing things, there's two different sides of this shit, but it's real history and it's happening. And then there's a pattern to this shit. Like I said, you go back to the Iraq War and you see this shit and you go, holy shit. And then you go back to Vietnam. You think this shit's bad. Go look at what the fuck we did in Vietnam.
Yeah.
We fucking slaughtered. They're still dealing with that shit. South Vietnam, we gave them $150 million to fight North Vietnamese, and then when we lost that fucking war, we made them pay that back, and we put sanctions on them. They were so fucking poor in Vietnam, and then we did a war crime, right? So we had Agent Orange chemicals over there, and they're still suffering. They have birth defects and all these fucked up things till today. They wanted to sue us for that because it's a clear war crime. It's a clear war crime to use Agent Orange and all that shit that we did. And we said, fuck you. Fuck you. You're not suing us. There are no laws that apply to us because we are the military muscles. We are the force. And that's
America.
I just don't like, I've never liked bullies in my life. Hoagie would tell you.
Fucking hate bullies.
And now, like, I used to be a big time liar, man. And I started not realizing why I didn't like myself for a while. And it was because I was lying about shit I didn't even have to lie about and stuff like that. And I just turned it around. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. My parents raised me better than that. I got both my parents. I could be better. And I started with not lying anymore. So I hate liars now today too. And now that I see this shit, it really fucking eats me up because that's what my country does. Not you and me, not regular people. We are great. We built this fucking country. We are amazing. Look at what we did. It's these people that use us. And now they're going and exploiting the whole fucking world and doing imperialism and fucking robbing people blind and murdering them too. And it's a fucking terrible fucking situation, man. And I think that that's something important. And that's why they don't want you to know history. And it's not something to be down about. You shouldn't be sad about it, but you should be motivated about it. And you should think about it and say, yeah, that's not right. Because God, no God, it doesn't matter. Right and wrong is something. And you either stand for something or you don't stand for anything. Fuck it, you know. What is it? Who cares, you know? Get better every day or get worse every day.
Get better.
You know what I mean? So that's how I look at it. But, okay, so we have a confession or a statement by Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin. He said, when asked what the goals in Ukraine were, he said, we want to see Russia weakened. And that was a moment right there because that explains how it's a proxy war. We're not trying to defend Ukrainians. We're not trying to protect Ukrainians. He said we want to see Russia weakened. And Biden dropped a statement at one of his, I think he was in Poland or some shit, where he said that for God's sakes, this man cannot be in charge or this man has to go down or something or remain in power or some shit. Remember when he said that?
For God's sakes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He got caught because he was basically saying it's a regime change. The same thing we do with all these fucking foreign people. These leaders that we don't like, that we want to replace them with puppets to fucking play our game.
Right.
So I say that to say this, to what you were saying. House passes $40 billion more in Ukraine aid with few questions asked. New York Times reports. They asked for $33 billion. Now we're talking billion with a B. Okay, dude, that's a lot of fucking money.
That's a lot.
That's like 2 tanks.
It's a
Those tanks.
Triple B, baby. Triple B, baby. That's a lot of money.
Well, Daniel, you know that that I-4 Ultimate project out there was $2 billion, right? To put that in perspective, that
I-4?
on I-4. Because people from around here could relate to that. The I-4 Ultimate project, 6 or 7 years long, did it go?
$2 billion. So compare that to $40 billion. And
Talk to me now.
And you just drop it on your lap. Here you go. Do whatever you want with
Without
that shit.
without a blinking. It's so. When's the last time like we asked for something as people and they said $10 billion? Give them 20.
Give them 20.
Give them 20. When's the last time that happened to us? Never.
They always say we don't.
10.
We don't got enough money for that.
No.
That's right.
We have to put in military weapons.
Where are we going to get the money?
Where
Where
are
are
we
we going to get it?
It'll cause inflation.
You think we can just print money?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what we do actually.
But we got money for the military.
That's right. That's right. Because they funnel our tax dollars out of here. They siphon it. And it goes right back to Raytheon, Boeing, and all these Lockheed and all these.
I mean, I'm kind of curious about it. So the whole part of the whole situation, right, is that Ukraine is not part of NATO, so we are not allowed to help them physically. Like we can't have boots on the ground.
It's interesting, right?
With them, but we can give them as much money. We can give them money. We can give them weapons. We just can't give them people.
Doesn't make much fucking sense, does it?
Is that what it is? We just can't give them soldiers.
We could train them.
But we can give them. We can train them.
Yes.
We can give them money. Give them weapons. But we
could be their sensei.
We just can't. we just can't give them actual bodies.
Right. We have to stay off until they're a part of NATO, and then.
But they can use our fucking weapons though that we give them.
It's weird. It's weird. Because it would be an act of war at that point if they were.
I mean, it seems like the same thing.
Because that's what NATO is. It's if you fuck with a NATO country, then you fuck with all of them, and then they come in. But here's.
Yeah, but if you're giving them a tank, isn't that just like you're giving them 1,000
support,
people, 1,000 guys?
Yeah, right. It's like they might come in and invade you tonight. Here's these 10 tanks. Here's these 1,000 bombs. If they come at you, this is what you throw at them.
Here's $40 billion worth of shit.
And I'm sure we're giving them all kinds of intelligence, satellites, whatever, and drones and whatnot.
And how do you think that makes Putin react?
He probably Putin his pants.
Right. Or he's fucking going, all right, you motherfuckers.
Okay.
Because Russia, this is a stat, Russia spends in military 8% of what NATO spends combined. All the NATO countries aligned, the United States and all the NATO countries, they're only 8% of the debt, but they're worried about Russia. They're worried about Russia taking over all of Europe and shit and doing some Hitler shit. Yeah, that's bullshit. That's what you call bullshit.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
You know, we're poker players, dude. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. I re-raise you all in right there. Yeah, check raise.
Ain't no other country gonna let that happen.
Exactly.
Yes. No.
Exactly, dude. It's impossible, dude.
Right now, everybody feel that they at everybody's even leveled. All right, you have power. You have power. All right, you're not gonna get any bigger. Okay,
right.
And you're not gonna let me get any bigger. I'm not gonna let you, or we're not gonna let them get any bigger.
Right.
We're gonna stay where we're at, and we're gonna have to work it out.
Right. So the vote was 368 to 57, with all 57 no votes coming from Republicans. No, not a single fucking Democrat voted no. And I don't want to make this a Republican-Democrat thing. I just want to say that.
For
they're anti-war.
For the support?
Supposedly. Yeah, for the vote to send the $40 billion to Ukraine, 368 to 57, all 57 no votes were coming from Republicans. Just weeks earlier, they sent them $13.6 billion. So they're up to $53.6 billion now in less than 2 months.
If they send me
fuck?
If they send me $1 billion, I'm totally okay with them sending $39 billion to them.
Let's ask them. They might do it. Let's ask them.
I take $250 million.
Yeah, I'll take way less.
But back to what I'm saying though. What's the goal? You know, what is your objective? Because you're only forcing World War III, right? If Putin decides, dude, I got no chance, and they're gonna try to overthrow me, and you know what? I got all these nuclear bombs. Fuck it, dude.
I'm going out with a bang.
Dude. And then there goes the world, dude. So what? But here's the thing. These rich people could just run to their bunkers, dude. I heard they got golf courses in these bunkers. They probably can't wait to get to them. Mm-hmm. And we're overpopulated as hell.
Luxury bunkers.
Realistically, there's no way that Russia would not eventually take them over, right? I mean, they can hold them off for a little bit in this city or that city.
From what I understand.
But without our help, there's no way that they would eventually win.
Right.
Or take whatever it is that they're...
But there's a Minsk agreement. There's a lot of things that we're not talking about. See, there's a Minsk agreement. China even said they want to get in and talk through it. And we said, fuck you, get out. It seems, see, what
I don't understand.
The pattern is that America always wants to escalate. They want to escalate because that keeps arms manufacturers. That keeps all these people. Look at Finland and Sweden. That's just now coming into the picture.
They coming in right now.
They want to join NATO now too. Okay, so Finland and Sweden are right on the border of Russia, and what that means is these stupid motherfuckers. You don't just join NATO. You're going to have to take arms. We're going to take our bombs and missiles and we're going to put them in there and we're going to point them towards Russia. And if there is a conflict and somebody in NATO gets in trouble, like let's say they take Ukraine and decide to take somebody else, which they won't because they only have 8% of what NATO has entirely militarily, but if they decide to, you got to get involved. And and if nuke bombs come off, they might be coming your fucking way.
Yeah.
And now all your
people.
people.
The best thing is to dismantle NATO. Maybe that's what we should.
Thank you. Yes. De-escalate.
We protect ourselves. Put those bombs, those missiles on the edge of our borders.
Yeah.
And there you go.
Thank you.
Man, we got intercontinental missiles now. Anyway.
Yep.
We can get you from wherever. It's not like we got to be real close.
Right.
Right.
Right. We in fact, we are in the ideal fucking geolocation of all the fucking places combined because we have nothing but water next to us and weak neighbors on top and bottom of us, Mexico and Canada.
So you could see you can see how Putin would maybe he feels threatened by us, right?
Yes,
of course,
absolutely. If we were fighting fucking Mexico right now and Putin sent Mexico $40 billion. We'd be like, what the fuck, dude, to the cartels. We'd be like, hey, man, what the fuck, dude? That's us. That's America right now.
Yeah.
That's what we're fucking doing, man.
Yeah.
So, yes, dude, it's bullshit all the way around. I don't see how people that don't see that can't fucking get that through their skull. But here's something to think about.
Maybe Putin should just build a wall.
Here's something that's actually really funny. The basic needs of Americans are not being met right now. Like you were saying earlier, all around the country, they're unpaving roads.
Unpaving?
Unpaving fucking roads, dude. So, never mind Flint, Michigan. There's hundreds of cities right now without clean water. They don't have access to clean water in hundreds of American cities right fucking now. Never mind Flint, Michigan, that's been like that for over a decade now. But 91 million Americans either have no health insurance or are underinsured, all right? And the medical equipment, the fucking, did we forget about the hospital beds and shit that we were lacking when the virus hit?
Yeah.
That's another thing to keep in mind. The
No
PPE.
space.
Yeah, all that shit. 1 in 4 children live in poverty. There you go. The list goes on. I got a long list here. You got the baby formula like you mentioned earlier. But hey, Daniel, it causes inflation. It causes, that's what they were talking about with the Build Back Better and shit. They were like, oh, it causes inflation.
So when we do these humanitarian efforts, they don't cause inflation? Is that what it is?
They don't.
They don't?
They do. And here's the other thing to keep in mind, that even though it causes inflation, it's the whole purpose of the sanctions and all this shit was to hurt Putin, right? The ruble has rebounded back to pre-war levels. It's actually doing better than it's ever fucking done. And Americans and Europeans are the only ones hurting as a result of this shit. We're the ones paying these fucking stupid prices and fighting for tyranny. We're fighting tyranny and all this shit. It's all bullshit. It's a boondoggle. It's just so these fucking rich ass investors could get rich. Like I said, Raytheon's, Lockheed's, and Boeing's, and all the fucking military. It's truly gross, man. It's sickening, dude. When you see the shit, it's our money, our fucking tax dollars that are doing this shit. Can we get a vote? Can we get a vote? Because I'm willing to bet that the reason we don't vote for this shit democratically, we always like to say democracy, is because they would lose. We would not vote for that shit.
So all the billionaires that they keep saying need to pay their fair share and whatnot. So if that was happening, whatever that is that they want to happen with that, then that just means we would give more to these places. Right?
Say that again. Billionaires paid their fair share.
Right. So that's a talking point, right? Billionaires need to pay their fair share, blah blah blah.
Right.
They need to pay more taxes than us or something. They need
yeah. I mean, I agree that if I'm paying 25 to 30%, they need to pay 25 to 30%, not 0.1% or whatever.
Right. I gave that a lot of thought.
But I'm saying they're always talking about that. Now, if that were to happen, like Musk, he's an example, right?
Right.
He paid like $11 billion this year in taxes. $11 billion.
That seems like a lot.
Now that's a lot, but it was still like a really low percentage
when you consider his whole net worth.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if
I think it's
they raise, let's say they raise the taxes on all these rich people, they get all this more,
but.
What are they doing with the money?
We wouldn't have to.
They're throwing it away to.
I'm not even for raising taxes anymore, dude. A lot of people are. I think it's the problem that they get this wealth. How the fuck do you render 80% of your population workers living paycheck to paycheck, and then you have Elon Musk with $300 billion? What does he have? What does he fucking have? I mean, let me put it like this: you have a busload of people. Oxfam had a study. It was like 5 years ago. It was like 120 people. And now today, you could fit them in a car, and they have more wealth than half the fucking world. Literally. You could fit them in one car. Yeah.
One car?
In like a minivan.
Before it was the
like
bus.
8 people, 5 people. Yeah, it was a bus before. And now it's a fucking car. And what do you fucking want? What do you want?
One person.
But it's the system that creates this. So instead of just saying, hey, we need to tax these people, we need to wealth tax these people. No, we need to restructure the system so this doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
And we just need to spread it out. It doesn't mean everybody needs to make the same amount of fucking money. No.
Right. I agree. They need to restructure the system.
Just restructure the fucking system, man.
You're taxing them. They're still not spending they're not spending these tax dollars appropriately.
Right. They're rewriting the laws and putting loopholes in there and shit so they don't have to pay.
I'm just saying the government, when they get the money, when they get our tax money, they're
right. Well, they're giving it to Ukraine.
Yeah, they're shitting it away.
They're it's bullshit, man.
It's 50.
And I think it's so sad that Marjorie Taylor Greene, I fucking hate her opinions on everything. But it's like Muggsy Bogues dunking on Shaquille O'Neal when she was talking about, how this is bullshit. And what did she fucking say? She said something about we took our constitutional oath. Oh, yeah, they took a constitutional oath to serve America, not Ukraine. Our elected officials, you can't let these people out left you, man. It's so sad that we have that. And we didn't have one Democrat that voted against it. And that's why I don't fucking vote for Democrats no more. And I'm fucking done, dude. I'm done with both parties. I'm fucking done. Fucking done, man. They're the same fucking people. They're gross. The system's fucking gross. They serve corporate special interests. That's who they are. It's very clear. They're not going to do shit. It's political professional wrestling. They act like they're gonna do shit. That's what it is. And if you and how do I know that? Because
I love seeing the debates.
Because that's what capitalism is, man. That's what it's morphed into this shit. It's in books, man. You don't have to figure it out. Historians have already figured this shit out. They know this system, and it morphs into something. That's why I'm anti-imperialist, and I don't even care if you're anti-capitalist, as long as you agree that there's tweaks and shit that have to be made to our economic system, then I'm cool with you, man. As long as you're two things, anti-imperialist and understand that our economy has to be tweaked and adjustments have to be made. I don't care what else you believe in. I don't give a fuck if you believe in abortions or not, death penalty or not. I don't give a fuck if we disagree about a bunch of shit. I will fuck with you because of that. And we have to make changes and support the fucking truckers because we need them bitches. I'm going to be at truck stops talking to motherfuckers with Hoagie. Like, yo, Hoagie's cool.
I was going to be a trucker, but I got too many damn kids at home. I got to be there for them.
Hey,
I ain't going to bullshit you.
I think if we started shooting aborted fetuses out of cannons, that would stop the war.
Holy shit.
No one wants to get hit with that.
Aborted fetuses. That's fucking bad.
That's nasty.
How much time do we got?
Listen,
I don't know why you said that either.
I do
not support that either.
I was 16 and when the question.
Oh yeah. Well, we're gonna get to that in a second. How much time do we got? Because I think I'm just gonna skip to the like it or not questions.
We're over an hour.
How far?
A few minutes.
Okay, we're good then. Okay, so I'm trying to decide where I want to go here because I got a lot of shit here to talk about, but I don't want to read all this shit. How much money everything went to? I don't give a fuck about that $40 billion. It just makes me depressed talking about this shit. A lot of it went to military. Fucking, it's like $4.4 billion went to emergency food assistance in Ukraine, all around the world. This was blah blah blah.
Lost some money.
It's a New York Times article. Yeah,
lost some money.
Lost tax dollars. Americans poor. That's all I see in this shit. I mean, here's a part. It said the loudest voices this is a New York Times article I'm reading. The loudest voices in both parties were those declaring their full-throated support. You could say full-throated support again. Arguing that failing to halt Mr. Putin's campaign now would lead to more costly conflict later. Okay, that is just fucking insane. All right, think about that. Because like what you said, dude, keep in mind, the expansion of the NATO since the 1990s is the reason we're involved in all this fucking shit, first of all. Second of all, what do you think's gonna happen when you send $40 fucking billion over there? You think that's de-escalating the fucking thing? No, that's not gonna fucking de-escalate it. We're literally. I would love to debate any fucking buddy with this too. If you believe that $40 billion is justified, and I won't even be mean to you. I'm used to hearing it from crazy people. If you believe that shit is justified, then I would love to talk to you. And you could drop it in the comments. I will fucking engage with you. I don't care.
They send me $14 million. I gonna go get gun, bombs, go get more tank, little bit of food, little bit of water for my family, for my peoples. But I'm gonna go get them son of bitches.
Think about what a billion is 1,000 million.
That's what's gonna happen.
$1 billion is 1,000 million.
Yes.
Fuck, man.
I think about like Austin Powers when When he's
No,
like,
a billion.
he's like back in the 60s.
No, a
and
billion
he says
is
$1 billion, and they just laugh at him. They're like, we don't have that kind of money. $1 billion.
And a
They
billion.
said that on there. That's right.
Yeah, like, they're like, we don't have $1 billion.
That's right.
And then he goes in the future and he says $1 billion, and they're like, oh, or no, he said $1 million.
No, $1 million.
$1 million. You're like, okay, here you go, buddy.
Yeah. Billion is 999 million.
Yeah, billion is 9 zeros.
Yeah, dude. It's truly fucked up. And yeah, so if anybody really believes that that's just, I just think it's crazy because we're really talking about one of two things here. And maybe one thing leads to two things, because if it's World War III, it's going to be nuclear bombs. If he gets moved in by NATO, he's not going to go out peacefully. I don't, especially if he's the guy you say he is, but I don't think it's going to end nice. And maybe even China gets involved. Who knows where it goes from there? It's just going to be fucked up, and I don't like it.
I don't think that's going to happen, the hookup. I mean, the teaming up thing. You know why?
With China?
Yeah.
Why is that?
This is why. When two serious power forces join together like that, what's going to happen at the end? At the end, they're going to bump heads.
No, because China actually needs all of what Russia has to sell. They need their oil. They need their natural gas. They need their...
So they'll get along for a while.
For a while, and then greed is going to step in.
Here's what you're not understanding. Maybe in the far, far future, that's probably possible. But right now, let me tell you this, man. The IMF, the World Bank, American imperialism has been fucking over the world so hardcore. That's why we go to these countries and we keep them poor, and we move in there and we force them to borrow money from us, and then we keep them in debt. It never fucking works. And that's why the whole world's poor. That's why a busload of people have more wealth than the fucking... And it's neoliberal capitalism is what that is. So China right now and Russia are behind the scenes Russia's telling Europe that they got to use rubles, and if you don't want to, then fuck off, because we got Pakistan, India, and China are like half the world's population by themselves. They're all fucking gonna work together, and they're going to create a banking system behind the World Bank and all that stuff. They're done with Americans, dude. Americans running on the petrodollar, and that's why we need Saudi Arabia so bad, because that's their oil. We have them tied to our American dollar tied to the petrodollar, and that's oil, a Saudi oil. So we're highly dependent on them. They know all this shit. Latin America hates us. The global South hates us. We've fucking killed and done so much damage around the world. This is where the problem is. And I'm glad you actually said that, because a lot of people don't understand that. And that is why that they're very much working together. And they're going to say, yeah, fuck Americans, man. We're done with this shit. Because
yeah, that could happen too.
Yeah, man. It's dude, when you're tired of the bullshit, man, it's one thing to bomb your way to peace, but China's got this Belt and Road Initiative where they've have 120 countries, last time I checked, signed on to it. They're lifting millions of people out of poverty, but all America reports is that they're bad people and they oppress their people and shit like that. But they don't even look into the fact that we do prison slavery and we do all these fucked up things too. So yeah, maybe their system's not perfect, and I don't know where it is good and where it's not. But I will tell you this, it makes sense that we're talking shit about them because their economy's kicking our ass. And their way of doing business is kicking our ass. So, common sense tells you when you look into all this shit that there's some bluffing going on. And I think that that's where we need to really focus our attention to and see what's going on. But nevertheless, let's finish up here. I want to skip to the end here. I want to say something about this. Let's see. I have a quote I want to read from John Foster Dulles. This is important, right? All right. Let me see if I'm in the right spot. Yep. Okay. I have a quote I want to read from John Foster Dulles. You know who that is? He was
No.
John was a member of a very rich and powerful New York law firm, okay? Both him and his brother Alan Dulles, you know Alan Dulles? Alan Dulles later became the head of the CIA, remember? And fucking JFK fired him?
No, I don't.
All right. John Foster Dulles became Secretary of State under Dwight Eisenhower. Okay, John quoted later on in his memoirs. This is what he said. He gives us a moment of truth about the American empire and its manipulation, how it fucking works. This is very interesting. Quote,
This is Alan?
This is John. In order to bring a nation to support the burdens of maintaining great military establishments, it is necessary to create an emotional state akin to war psychology. There must be the portrayal of external menace. Think about what they just said. I'll repeat it. There must be the portrayal of external menace. Not there must be an external menace. The portrayal of external menace. Putin, right? China, Xi Jinping, all right? He goes on to say, this involves, Dulles continues, the development to a high degree of the hero nation and the villain ideology, and the arousing of the population to a sense of sacrifice. Once these exist, we've gone a long way on the path to war. So public opinion matters, man. Back to the trucker thing we were talking about earlier. Why? It's the opening quote, Margaret Mead. Don't ever tell me that a small group of thoughtful people cannot change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has.
Yeah.
It's all there. Michael Parenti says, in a quote, a nation cannot function if the population begins to develop a counter-consciousness and begins to mobilize and move in a different direction. Their power rests on the tax-paying shoulders. Boom.
Boom.
There you fucking got it. So, folks, and I'm going to end with this before we go to like it or not questions. Chris Hedges, quote, and I fucking love Chris Hedges too, man. These are all fucking, I don't give a fuck about John Dulles, but that was just a truth moment. Parenti's the badass motherfucker, and Chris Hedges is also golden. Chris Hedges, quote, the political system, as many Bernie Sanders supporters are about to discover, is immune to reform. The only effective resistance will be achieved through acts of sustained mass civil disobedience. The Democrats, like the Republicans, have no intention of halting the assault on our civil liberties, the expansion of imperial wars, the coddling of Wall Street, the destruction of the ecosystem by the fossil fuel industry, and the impoverishment of workers. As long as the Democrats and Republicans remain in power, we are doomed. There you go. So do with that as you may, but it all ties together, and it's pretty simple message. Republicans and Democrats suck, and that's what you need right there. And don't believe the hype. You know, I get it though. You know, people. I can relate to this, right? People are turned off by politics because of what it does to people. You see, like, because I didn't know about politics. You know, I never we watched sports, we chased girls, and had a good time, right? And I love Hoagie because he's like listening to me, and he's coming back. He's like, yo, he's learning a lot. But I get it because people are turned off by politics. They don't like it because of what it does to people. It affects people. It breaks them down, and it fucking puts people in a bad mood. It makes best friends not like each other. It makes family members break up. Yep. It's heartbreaking, right? But that's exactly it. It's important now that we actually start to understand this, that the importance of the time and the moment, and know that, man, it's a different day today. It's a different day. And we got to do something about this. No matter what it is. If you don't get in the ring and fight, you lose. You lose no matter what, man.
No matter what.
And that's what we're looking at, man. That's what we're looking at. So, like it or not questions. I don't know how much time we got, but we could just rattle off. I only got a few here. Drug overdose deaths in the U.S. hit record high in 2021. CDC reports a 15% increase. Like it or not. Anybody want to go? I don't give a shit. I'll go if you want me to. I don't like it, but
I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? Percentages going up of overdoses and
15%.
15%. That's pretty bad.
I think that has a lot to do with the whole fentanyl situation too.
Yep. Yeah. Fentanyl was mixed with everything.
Mark Gerwin.
They used to
our boy Mark.
A lot of fentanyl got a lot of people right now.
Tony Sanders,
Frederico, Kyle.
Frederico.
I done lost a lot of little friends.
More than I could count, man.
Yeah,
it's so sad that
it's.
I was talking about that the other day. I was like, man, I lost count, and that's so sad because I used to keep up. I used to like one love to everybody, drink up to every single person.
Yeah.
But when you don't even have enough time to grieve because they're dropping like
dropping.
That's a war on people, man. And I don't know where that fentanyl shit's coming from, but I know it's the fucking devil, man. And it's out there. And whatever's happening, drugs are not worth it, man. They're just not worth it. You know, you could get your fucking fun other ways, you know, even though alcohol's a drug. But
one of the worst.
It is. And you could have a fun time sober, man. I've done it. It's great.
Go to the springs, go to the beach, go around family that loves you. If you ain't got family that loves you, there's a bunch of friends out there that love to love you, man. They're out there. Happiness is there.
Yeah, man. It's sad. It's a sad situation. You got anything else to say on that? Drugs?
Well, that specifically, then most of the people aren't choosing to consume the fentanyl.
Yeah.
Their Coke is laced, or
they don't know.
Which is weird, man. It doesn't make sense.
Nothing's pure no more.
Like, there ain't dealers that want to kill their fucking buyers. So where is it? How is that happening?
I would assume a lot of the dealers they're not aware. I would guess.
It goes.
So where's it coming from?
You're not gonna have a repeat customer, right?
That's what I'm saying. Even from the main suppliers, if you know you have something that's killing people, that means you have no customers coming back.
That's it. It kills your money.
So that's what's a no-brainer to me. So
we grew up in a time where drug dealers actually loved us.
They loved the shit out of
people.
us.
People just wanted to be together, man. And it's sad what's going on today. And I'm not saying that the people are intentionally. I agree with Daniel. It's not intentional, man. It doesn't even make fucking sense. But that's where I'm curious.
But there's some. I don't understand it, because you could buy just straight up fentanyl, and what it is, people are mixing it with their heroin just to make an extra $1.
Oh,
it's cut.
Okay.
I mean,
it's a sort of cut.
I mean, it's an opiate, so I guess I see why they would mix it with that, but then it's showing up. It's they're putting it in other stuff too.
Yeah, they're putting it in the blood.
I've heard there's different levels of fentanyl too. I heard there's shit, if you touch it, you could fucking die.
Dude, there's been plenty of times where the cops open the trunk and they just pass out.
I've heard that too.
Just from the dust.
The smell and the dust. Yes.
I've heard that too.
The gas.
Jesus.
Yeah, so that's some potent shit, I guess.
God damn. All right. Next one. Disinformation Governance Board put on pause. Like it or not.
What?
There was a disinformation governance board. Nina Jankowicz or whatever the fuck was put in charge of it. They were trying to push it through. It was for censorship. That's what that means. Disinformation governance board. Basically, they want to censor dissent. They want to make sure that people like us aren't saying this shit. That's basically what they're doing.
Oh, like what they do in China. They control the internet.
That's right. They want to control what the hell they're talking about, but
like right now,
regulations.
Like right now, if
I'm dead. It's okay. We'll just continue on. We'll finish up. Go ahead.
Well, in China, they have that. They would come. You would get arrested if you was to talk about anything that they don't agree on.
Right.
They would shut you down, and then if you find a way to get through that, you would have some jail time. You gonna be all right?
Yeah, I'm trying.
Okay.
I'm gonna see. Keep going. You're good.
Yeah, you probably do need a parental advisory on your shows. Pretty rough stuff.
Yeah, nah. I think we're a free country, so it's freedom of speech. So I think we're allowed to speak on air. You know what's funny is that we like critics.
You know what's funny is that they're trying to censor what you're saying about whatever minor things that you're saying. But they don't care about all the porn and shit that's
going out there
that anybody can get access to.
No, yeah, that's crazy. And you can get on anything, and it's crazy. It's the worst thing ever. It is.
Yeah.
It's like
kids are on that shit, right?
Like it's.
Hey,
so,
I mean, when the kids now they see more shit than you ever even imagined when you were a kid.
Yes, because back in the day we had magazines. You know,
and you still had to like try to get the magazine.
Yeah, exactly. You had to go inside that magazine store and try to steal it. Act like you're gonna try to go get the Nintendo magazine.
The movie store where you had to
get
when they had the
the Triple X.
Yeah, they had the back room.
The back room.
You just sneak back like you're watching the other movies.
Yeah, all the video stores used to have
that. Then
that.
you're like, how do I find my way back there?
Yeah, man, they used to have a curtain.
Without them noticing me.
Yeah, you got to go through the curtain and go to the back room to the adult room. That was funny.
Yeah, because you see the titties on the thing. That's what we had to do to see titties.
Exactly. Yeah, they got the cover of a fucking video cassette fucking movie.
We had to work hard to see the titty. Oh shit.
Yo, I remember.
But, yeah, that's weird when they start talking about censorship and they don't give two shits about that kind of stuff. So
we got in trouble, man. And listen, we went to a little magazine store as a kid, and I went with my little.
Work hard to see them titties.
I went with my friends, and yeah, I did steal a couple of magazines, right, with my buddies. And then one of my buddies got caught, so we ran and got my other buddy's sister. She was a little older and got us out of the situation. She went up there like she was, get my son out of there. And we got those magazines home, and me and Angel got an ass whipping after my mom's found them shits.
No shit.
But there was some nice titties.
We had the best titties. We had to work hard to see titties. And then when I got older, I would go to the airport or something, and they would have like titties on the back rack of the airport, and I'm like, oh, there's a nudie book right here. Like, that's crazy. Like, anybody could pick this up. So it's just funny how fast that changed.
Yeah, man.
Anyway, Roe versus Wade leak suggests abortion rights to be overturned, like it or not. We're back to our abortion thing that we were talking about earlier.
Abortions. Abortion should be a big decision, a big decision, and abortion.
But it should be a decision.
It should be a decision.
All right,
and for some things, it should be like if you was to be raped and the lady had a decision that she didn't want that baby, that is her decision at that moment that she's allowed to do that because of the incident that she was in. But like me, I had that decision to make when I was 15, 16 years old.
Yeah. You were going to tell this story. Go ahead.
You know, I had gotten my son's mom pregnant.
I remember this.
And the question was, you know, they told money was paid up and everything for she could go to abortion. She went in to go get an abortion. I went to school thinking that, you know, when I got out of school, that the girlfriend I had at the moment, she would be, you know, I had the baby aborted. But when I got there, you know, I went to go console. She was like, sit down. My mom came in the room like, listen, we heard a heartbeat. And at that moment, we felt touched and everything, and we didn't want to go through it. The baby was already alive and everything.
Talk about the primal.
So now, this kid was supposed to be abortion, and I thank God, I thank the Lord. And they gave me the decision. They said I could walk away from this, or if I want, I could stick by. I said, hey, it's my kid. If we're going to have it,
Mama says there. It, and it's a heartbeat. I'm in. Let's go.
And this kid is amazing.
He's the best kid ever. JJ, shout out JJ.
25 years old, going on 26. He's about to make me a grandfather now.
That's my dude, man. I fucking love JJ.
This is the best non-aborted thing that was ever happened. Coronavirus. You know, this is a non-aborted kid.
Yeah, we can't wait to get him on the show too, man. Jersey representing.
So if you think a situation might be bad, you know, because you didn't have an abortion, you might have a miracle child, and you know things might be great.
That's a good, yeah, man.
You know?
Well, a good stat to keep in mind is 70% of Americans are not for overturning it. So you know, but here's the thing to keep in mind with that, right? When things, Democrats, first of all, could have codified this in the fucking law. That's besides the point. But when things that are popular, right? Like I just said, 70% of people are not for overturning this. When things are popular and they don't get done, that's when you're living in a fucking dictatorship. That's Medicare for all. there's like 70% more now the people that want that shit, and it's not happening. We would actually save money. It's the private insurance companies that are fucking hoarding it. We're living in a fucking...
So why do we vote?
Exactly. Well, our country supports 73% of the world's dictatorships. I mean, it's fucked up. What do you think, Roe versus Wade? I'm pretty sure I know what you think, but I'm sure you got something funny to say.
Well, it's definitely helped me out in the past. Like, I had that same decision to make, and we made that decision, and maybe it would have been better to not. But either way, that doesn't even matter.
I didn't know that.
I mean...
Right.
Yeah, I mean...
Was that with the one?
Oh, no, it was with the one and then the other one.
God damn. I don't know why I laughed
And
at
then-
that.
I didn't say the way he said it. And then the other...
There's a history with the one that I was talking about.
And then the other one
See,
said,
there's
I don't know
people-
if it's yours or his. So I don't know if it was like really my abortion.
Now you're making
or
me
his
look
abortion.
bad because
so I don't know.
the audience doesn't know that there was
But-
one situation that happened to you that was so fucked
Oh, no,
up.
oh, yeah,
So
that-
that was
that-
the one I was asking. Was that the
Yeah,
one? But you said the other one. It makes me look like an asshole.
The most recent one.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, the ex. She lied. She told me she was pregnant. Is that what you're talking about?
No.
Okay,
I was
well,
talking
I don't
about
know
the
what you're talking
one
about
that's
then.
not around.
Yeah. She told me that she was pregnant after, and then she really wasn't.
Oh, Jesus!
Like she was just trying to get money.
Trying to get
Wow.
money. That happened to me.
But
Yeah.
that's wifey.
So
that was
I-
ex-wifey or ex-woman for your kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about the one that ain't here. One-
Oh.
that one.
Yeah,
That's-
that was. She had a situation.
That was
Tuesday.
one too. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't want to give any.
Hey,
I don't want to
so
give your
listen,
personal business
so,
away.
So my opinion. Let's whatever.
All right.
My opinion is, hey, you should not be able to just have them over and over and over again. I knew a chick in high school that had like 10. Like
That
had
was-
like
that
10
was-
abortions.
that was- that- that was a
She had-
birth
she had-
control.
Like she had a lot. Like she just got pregnant every other day.
I agree
And
with
just
that.
had it taken care
No,
of.
I
all the
agree with
time.
that.
Can't do that.
I agree with that. You can't just
should, like there should be a limitation.
3 and
on
out
how
or
many
some
you
shit.
Can, like how many
2
you
and
can
out.
have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
2 and through or some shit.
Like you can't just have.
Like,
you can't have like.
You gotta be responsible. Bro.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the numbers of how many abortions occur every day, it's a lot. It's like thousands and thousands.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot. So that's what gets the people that are mad about it,
Right.
like really thinking, because hey, those are big fucking numbers.
Right.
Well, what it is, the people that get mad about it is, some of these people are some people that can't have kids. So they're wishing they could have kids.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
Well,
There's a lot of people like that
that's
too.
part of it.
Right.
When there's people just
That would piss me off too.
That would piss me off.
Yeah.
You know what
I
I'm
mean, you
saying?
got those people, then you got
Good
the
point.
religious fanatics,
Yeah.
and then the people that it's just like a political thing for them.
Right.
Um,
But it's also a social
But-
thing because the Democrats could have codified that shit in the
I mean-
law and they use that shit to distract you from economic things. Not saying that I'm for it or against or whatever. But
so when they say
that's a good point.
codify or whatever, they're talking about like have
End of law.
have limitations on it. Is that what they mean?
No, it means lock it in because they had the Senate majority. They had, and they could have basically. They're showing their cards, man. They could have done something about this.
Well, I just think it should be allowed. I mean, you should be allowed to
Me
have
too.
abortions.
Me too.
But there should be limitations. Like you can't have 10.
Right.
Okay. If you have 1, you have 2.
Right.
After 5 years, you have 1 now. 5 years later, you have another one.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's bullshit.
What
I'm saying,
don't use it as birth control.
Or if you're raped or it's a medical thing or whatever.
Right. What I'm saying
And
is,
then also after so long you can't have it either. Like after so many
totally agree.
3 months.
What I'm
or 2
saying
months,
is that
or
they
I don't know
haven't
how you would
codified
agree
it
on that,
in the
but-
law because they like to play political fucking ping pong with this shit and keep people distracted and divided, right? Like the truckers. Fucking, you're fucking evil. You fucking think that people could just have abortions or not abortion. It divides people to distract them from the things we should be uniting on. And that's the game, man. That's what the game to preserve capitalism and to keep it going so these few fucking cocksuckers at the top can make all the fucking money and keep the system flourishing. and doing all the things that it's doing. But that's it, man. That's the show. I wanted to talk about the Palestine American journalists, but we didn't get into it today. I'm going to talk about that on a future episode because I got to go in deep with that. Shireen Abu Clay, she was murdered and her funeral is attacked. It's fucking unspeakable, the things that are going on in Israel and stuff. And I'm just now getting really familiar with all this stuff. So you're just going to have to bear with me. But yeah, we're going to get into that in another episode. Guys, fucking love you, man. And good shit.
I just want to say, look, I'm looking at the camera. I seen Larry today. He told me, look at the camera.
Big tribes?
Yeah, but he said, what's up?
My brother.
Yeah, brother.
Love you, Larry.
He said, tell brother, said, what's up? So, Larry, I'm looking at the camera. I got you.
Larry, we love you, man. We got to get Larry in on here. Let's get the fuck out of here. Thank y'all for tuning in. If you can't be nice, keep it moving then.
Gone.